Hi guys, it's Heather, the Butterfly Effect plant-based weight loss on Motivation Monday, when I try to share some words that might motivate you and things that have worked to motivate me. And a lot of you are in the middle of a challenge, which is to stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. And I introduced that challenge last week, and I just want to see, how are you doing? Are you still in the contest? At the end of the month, on November 1st, I'm going to be giving away a gift certificate to Amazon.com for $30. And you're just going to self-report whether you stopped eating 3 hours before bedtime. And if you did, you're going to report that either on the post on the 1st of November, or you can report it in my Facebook group, if you're a member of my Facebook group. And I'll put your name in the drawing, and then we'll do random.org and let it pick a winner. I have been doing really well so far. So since the 2nd, when I started the contest, I haven't had anything after 6 o'clock, which is my cutoff time. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm not eligible for the contest. But how are you doing? Have you started doing it, and are you finding it helpful? Does it have value to you? And have you tried giving yourself rewards and making it making other kinds of games out of health goals? So just wanted to check in with you, and you could put those comments down below. Today, I want to talk about something that is a huge motivator for me and for other people, and that is health. That has got to be my number one motivation, absolutely. For staying on track is my health. I don't take my health for granted, because I really destroyed my health eating, processed food, fast food, a lot of greasy food, sugar. I ate all of that. I ate my share, I ate your share, I ate everybody's share. I got really, really overweight, and with that came a lot of health problems. It affected me from head to toe. I had dandruff and eczema and acne, really bad acne, and I was in my 40s. I had everything from, embarrassing but minor things like body odor and hair on my chin from my hormones being screwed up, to having, my heart pounding extremely hard all the time, not being able to walk more than 50 feet without being out of breath. I had type 2 diabetes. I had cholesterol that was in the 400s, triglycerides that were in the 400s, and joint pain, terrible pain, sleep apnea, you name it. My health was just being completely destroyed. And something that I haven't talked about yet, but I'm going to talk about today, and that is that I also had, as I think from a result of that diet and from stress, about 2 years ago, 2 years ago, right around October, I had a CAT scan of my abdominal region, and that was to see how it was doing. I just had surgery on my abdomen for a hernia, and so it was like a 5-year post-op checkup on how that was doing, because it was a really difficult repair, and the surgeon didn't know if it was going to hold, and so he wanted a 5-year follow-up. And so I had that CAT scan of my abdomen, and there was good news and bad news. My abdomen had healed at the time. The infection hadn't started that I just got the surgery for. But my doctor called me on a Saturday, and I thought, oh my gosh, what a great doctor. She's wonderful. She is wonderful. I have a great doctor. And she was like, your CAT scan came back, with no problems in your abdomen. And I was very happy about that because I had wanted to start doing like ab exercises and lift weights and things like that. And I needed to know that it was okay, that I was medically cleared to do those things. So I was super happy until she said, but we did find something, and that is that you have a mass in one of your lungs, in the very bottom of one of your lungs, because I am so short that even though they were doing abdominal CAT scan, they caught a picture of one of my lungs because I'm only 5'1". And so I was like, is that bad? She said, well, it's probably not good. And so I would like you to have another CAT scan, one with contrast. And so I did that. And they not only confirmed that I had a mass in one of my lungs, I had 7 masses over all 3 lobes. Did you know your lungs aren't symmetrical, because one of your lungs is bigger than your right lung is bigger than your left lung, because there has to be room for your heart on that side. I had no idea. Unfortunately, I know a lot about lungs now because I got diagnosed with something called DIPNEC. DIPNEC is short for diffuse idiopathic neuroendocrine cellular hyperplasia. And there's some, it was explained to me that it's cancer. Some doctors will say that it's like a pre-cancer. Either way, it's masses in your lungs that they take up the volume of your lungs and they make you not be able to breathe. So it's not good. On the other hand, there's a lot worse kinds of lung cancer to have, a lot worse. And so this particular kind doesn't kill people, which is nice. And it's very, very, very slow growing. Sometimes often people that have this end up on oxygen, but I have 0 symptoms. I don't really have any symptoms except for when I get a cold or a flu or something, it's a lot more severe than a normal person getting a cold or a flu. I have to take it really seriously, and sometimes I get short of breath, and that's probably what was going on before when I was so heavy and I was so short of breath, and I had reactive airway disease and sleep apnea and stuff like that. Probably some of that was related. So I'm not going to die. If you Google it, which that's the first thing I did, you'll find out it's really rare. They think that there's like fewer than 100 people in the US that have this, and they don't know why I have it. That's the idiopathic. It doesn't mean I'm an idiot. It just means that nobody knows why I have it. And no, I did not smoke. I never smoked. I was never exposed to radon that I know of. Yeah, I don't know why I have it, but I do have theories. I think that the train wreck of a diet that I used to be on, combined with huge amounts of stress that I've gone through in my life and haven't handled well, I believe those things can make you sick. They can overcome your immune system and make you sick. And I'm not a doctor. And there is a blessing in doctors not knowing what to do for you, because this is what they call like an orphan disease. Nobody really knows what to do with it or how to treat it. There's no studies on it. When it affects so few people, there's no money in trying to develop treatments for it. And so kind of my doctor and I are just taking kind of like a wait and see approach. And of course, I'm doing everything I can possibly do to support my immune system with a health promoting diet, with lots of sleep, with lots of exercise, with lots of self-care, radical self-care. Self-care is healthcare, And so, people in my life that maybe didn't, I don't know how to say it without being cruel, but I don't necessarily feel like I have to please everyone now, and I don't necessarily think that I have to have everybody in my life that I used to think I did, and I can bless people and let them thrive somewhere else. You don't have to be mad at them, but you can just bless them and let them go and realize that their journey is their journey and your path is a different path, and that's okay. So I try to laugh a lot more. I try to be around my friends and people who love me and share with you guys. And so all of those things are to say, I didn't go like a traditional oncology path. I didn't choose to do like chemo or radiation or surgery or anything like that. There's no evidence that any of those things would help me. And I wasn't even offered those options. And so I'm working with an alternative health, you could think of it that way, practitioner, several actually, just different people that specialize in different things. And I'm following some suggestions from Chris Wark from chrisbeatcancer.com. If you're familiar with him, I'm trying some of the things that he suggests. I'm trying everything Dr. Greger says food-wise is anti-cancer. And you'll hear me say that in my food videos. This is good for onions and garlic, most anti-cancer vegetable, lycopene, beta carotene for the lignans for the anti-cancer. I'm always looking for food as medicine. Food as medicine. Some of you are probably wondering why I haven't brought this up before, and several reasons. And I'll try to explain it, although I don't know that you'll be that happy with my explanations. Okay, so part of me was like, a lot of my life is really, really public. I don't need to share everything, right? And there are things I don't share. So there was that. But also, I just don't want to identify myself as, a cancer patient. I don't want to be a cancer warrior. I don't want to be fighting the good fight. I don't want to fight myself. I want to be healing. I want to see myself as whole. And I think of these masses in my lungs as like temporary residents, that they're there for right now. But it's just like you wouldn't, when you have a cold, you're not in denial that you have a cold, but it's not there to stay. You know that you're being healed and that you're going to be better. And that's the way I feel about it. So I didn't want that to become my identity. And then, I also didn't want to be treated differently. Sometimes people will treat you differently when you have a serious illness or something that sounds like a serious illness. And they'll kind of put their baggage on you, or they'll be like, you should definitely do everything you possibly can. How can you be so selfish and leave your kids alone? Or, like, why aren't you going the traditional route? Or they'll tell you about their cousin who died of the same thing. Or they'll just be like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Can I do anything for you? Which is lovely and kind, but I just don't want to be treated like that. I don't want to be your friend who has the serious illness. I just want to be me. And then, another part of me, you guys know, because I shared my faith, I believe I'm being healed. I believe that this is on its way out, and that's what I'm embracing. I'm embracing that I'm whole and healed and healthy and strong, and so that's what I want to embrace. So I don't want to focus on the fact that I have masses in my lungs, except to take care of them, to take care of myself and do all the right things. And then finally, yes, it did occur to me that I just got diagnosed 2 years ago, and I was already a vegan at that time, but it did start in 2008. My pulmonologist was able to go back and look at my records, and she could see that, because I had different echocardiograms and different kinds of x-rays and all kinds of imaging studies done, she could see where it started. And so it started when I was a train wreck, not when I was a vegan, and not when I was a plant-based eater, eating healthfully, way before I took off all this weight and changed my life and got rid of all those health conditions that I talked to you about. And so I didn't want people to say, if a vegan diet or a plant-based diet is so healthy and so anti-cancer, why are you sick? Why do you have this? And so I was going to tell you guys, but after I got well. And right now, the CT scans just don't show any change. So it hasn't gotten any bigger, hasn't gotten any worse. But it hasn't. I only get one CT scan a year for this, and the last one was last December, and there was no change. And then I just did have a CT scan for my abdomen because of all the stuff going on with that, and there were again they caught a picture of the big one in the bottom of one of my lungs, and no change, still the same. So I was waiting to be cured or be recovered before I told you about it. Okay. And just a million other reasons. I'm not qualified to give medical advice. I don't want people to come to me with looking for medical advice. There was just a lot of reasons. But I've decided to go ahead and let everybody know, partly because I had told enough people that a lot of people knew, and it was going to come out anyway, and so that was happening. And I chose to, so I am a finalist in a really cool contest, which is called Transformations After 40. Lovely people, many of you guys nominated me to win a week at a spa at the fabulous Oaks at Ojai spa. And in one of the nominations, one of my friends who knows me and knows the situation included that in the nomination. And so I felt like it was out there, and I didn't. And I think it upset some people to find out that way, and so because of that, I wanted to tell you what's going on. So no, I'm not dying. No, I don't even feel sick. Honestly, I feel the best I ever have in my life. And since I brought up the Oaks at Ojai, I would so appreciate if you want to vote for me. I'm one of 3 finalists, and honestly, the other 2 finalists are amazing people from what I can read, and whoever wins, I would be thrilled. I absolutely mean that. I know people always say that, oh, it's just an honor to be nominated. I would, I love that I was nominated. I love that I'm getting a chance to say that you can do this with a plant-based diet, that you can take off a huge amount of weight, like 300 pounds, without a gastric bypass, if you don't want to have to do that. And you don't have to go on Atkins or keto or, I wanted to be a good advocate for a plant-based diet, and this is one way to get the word out, and I really appreciate that. So I would love it if you would vote for me if you feel so inclined. I'm going to put the link in this video. And so just bringing it all back to motivation. My health is a huge motivation because I have the kind of lung condition that I have. It has a neuroendocrine component, so it's in my neuroendocrine cells, so nerve cells that are part of your endocrine system. It's sensitive to fat, and so that's one of the reasons that I chose to take off weight quickly because I got advised by one of my doctors that that would be, really helpful because it has that component. And so if you're wondering why I have tried to take off weight really quickly, like maybe faster than I would have otherwise, that's why. That's one of the reasons why. So I hope that that clears up some stuff for some of you. Um, and so here's the thing, plant-based diet is good for your health. We know this. We know that you cut your risk of cardiovascular disease by 90%, and you cut your risk of cancer by 80%, okay? And that is even if you have genetic tendencies towards certain kinds of cancer, you can suppress the genes that cause cancer, and you can encourage the genes that help your immune system. And so it's a hugely motivating thing to know that you can control your health. And if you do have a health condition, that you can reverse it. I've reversed, type 2 diabetes. I have genetically high cholesterol, but I'm able through diet and exercise to get it under 180. And so you can reverse a lot. I no longer have sleep apnea. I don't have to wear that highly attractive sleep apnea mask to bed every night that looked like an elephant trunk. I no longer have asthma. I no longer have joint pain, the joint pain that made me be addicted to ibuprofen for so long. And I am looking forward to a time very soon when I can say I no longer have any masses in my lungs. I'm cancer free. And I'm gonna probably, I've never wanted to get a tattoo. I've always been scared of them. It just didn't, I like seeing them on other people. I really like looking at other people's, but I've never wanted one myself. But I'm gonna get one on my back where my lungs are, and it's gonna say cancer proof when I get that diagnosis that it's gone. So anyway, I think that at least for me, health is the hugest motivation. As I love animals, I believe in being plant-based for the environment. I believe in not being cruel to animals, that we don't need to do that, but your health is huge. You have to take care of yourself. You belong not only to yourself, but also to the people who love you and the people who count on you and the people who need you around to be happy and healthy and your best you. So get motivated, take control of your health. It is in your hands. And if you feel like voting for me for the Transformation After 40 contest, I would love your vote. I would really appreciate it, and you'll find the link down below. And if you have any questions about my lungs or anything else, please feel free to ask me in the comments, and I will try to answer those for you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.